Thanks very much, Joan, and good afternoon, everyone. And firstly, I just want to say what a great pleasure it is to be back here in person at one of these Economist events. And thank you, Joan. Thank you, Nectaria, if you're there somewhere, I don't see you. And thank you to all the colleagues for such a warm welcome. It's really great to be back. Now, I think I don't need to tell anyone in this room what the EBRD is. And I do hope that you all know what the EBRD in Greece is, that we have been investing in this country since 2015 under a special mandate. But I do want to say a few words about how we see the situation and what we plan to do in the future. Now, firstly, Joan, you've stolen some of my thunder because you have already said that that Greece is one of our biggest countries now. It's, in terms of annual business volume, it's typically about third or fourth in the list out of 38 economies. Who would have believed that when the EBRD was founded in 1991? Greece was a founding shareholder, but not a country of operations. But we are here on a special mandate, which was initially for 5 years to the end of 2020. It has been extended to the end of 2025. And we've already committed more than 6 billion euros in investment in over 100 projects, all of them in the private sector, and a good balance between financial institutions, industry, commerce and agribusiness, and sustainable infrastructure. We're also a partner, like the EIB, we're a partner with the government for the RRF, and we've already signed a couple of projects under that facility with more to come. Now, as an economist, I'm often asked, what is my view and what is the sort of EBRD view on Greece? And clearly, it's relatively easy now to tell a positive story. And I too saw the article in the FT today that Michael Argue mentioned, placing Greece as one of these countries to feel optimistic about amid all the bad news. And one way we've heard all the statistics today, and one way to think about it, which I tell people, is to think of the flows and the stocks, and both have been moving in the right direction for some time. So the flows are things like GDP, which is doing very well, investment, internal and external imbalances have been largely eliminated, fiscal and current account, exports doing extremely well, more than 40% of GDP. But it's also the stocks that everyone is very worried about that have come down dramatically. NPLs as a stock, unemployment was 27%, now around 12%, and public debt, which is still very high, but now I think everyone understands the relatively modest debt servicing requirements for many years to come. But I do want to, amid all this positive news, there is a danger of being a bit too Panglossian, and I do want to add a cautionary note that there's still quite a lot to do in Greece, despite the reforms that have already been in place. Now, I want to highlight the analysis that we at the EBRD do regularly, published in our annual transition report, where we evaluate countries by the qualities, how competitive countries are, how resilient, how green, how inclusive, and so on. And when you look at Greece versus other European countries where we invest, so this is Central Europe, the Baltics, and some countries in Southeastern Europe, Greece scores quite poorly relative to many of those, and particularly on the issue of governance. So I would single out governance as really the one issue, and by governance I mean broadly both public sector governance but also corporate governance. It's the one issue I think where there's still plenty of room for improvement in the coming years. Greece at the moment scores not just below the Baltic states or Czech or Slovak republics and so on, it scores on our measure below even Bulgaria and Romania. So that is, I think, a note of caution to add. Nevertheless, when you look at the growth figures, they are quite impressive. I want to flag another publication, EBRD publication, will be coming out with new forecasts this week on Wednesday. So I can't quite tell you yet what we're going to put in for Greece for this year, next year, but what I can say is it will be substantially above the forecast we had last time in May, which was around 3% for this year. Next year, obviously a slowdown, but Greece still outperforming the other Eurozone markets that we follow, and certainly outperforming the likes of Germany and other big Western European economies. So overall, a positive picture, but still quite a bit of work to do on the reform side in the coming years. Thank you.